Yes, sir. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us today. I welcome you all to our webinar on transformation of business operations using Industry 4.0 technologies, organized by Institute for Engineering Research and Publication, IFAP. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much, and I welcome you for joining us today.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, before we proceed further, I'd like to introduce our eminent keynote speaker who has joined us today. So this is 1 second. Yeah. This is Dr. Santosh Rain, who is currently working as Dean of Academics at Sardar Patel College of Engineering, Mumbai, India. Sir has completed his PhD in Technology, Master Black Belt in Lean Six Sigma. He has also been the Confederation of Indian Industry Certified Supply Chain Management Executive. He has been a corporate trainer and consultant in top multinational companies where he has guided more than 300 business excellence projects. Sir has done more than 90 publications and 700 citations on Google Scholar Citations. He has guided 5 PhD scholars. He's also got the Process Improvement PI Award at L&T. He's been the reviewer of Scopus Index journals of Elsevier, Taylor, and Francis Emerald Group. Sir has also been the advisory committee member as well as keynote speaker for various other international conferences. So, good evening, sir, and I welcome you once again.
Good evening, madam. There is a small correction what I would like to say.
Yeah.
I didn't receive the award at L&T. I was a jury for the PI award,
Okay.
Process Improvement Award at Larsen and Toubro.
Okay, Jury for Process Award. Okay, so it's Jury for Process Improvement Award at L&T.
Yeah.
Okay, noted, sir.
And there is another small correction at the title of Santosh Rane. It is a doctor, DR.
Okay. Doctor. Yeah, it's there, sir. Doctor, but there are two D's actually.
So one can
Yeah,
be
yeah.
removed.
Okay. Yeah, yes, sir.
Fine.
So yes, sir, you may begin, sir. Like you can turn the screen share around and you can begin.
Whether the screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is visible.
Perfectly. Very
Yes,
good.
sir, it's perfect.
So good evening to all. Today we gathered over here to learn a topic transforming business operations using Industry 4.0 technologies. I shall be giving a small outline before going towards my presentation. We will start with industrial revolutions 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the specific features of those industrial revolutions? And then what is Industry 4.0, where it was originated, what is the concept of Industry 4.0 as such, what are the different components, what are the technologies, what are the drivers, enablers, applications, benefits, salient features of Industry 4.0 technologies, what are the different business area which are going to be affected by Industry 4.0 technologies, what are the different challenges in implementation of Industry 4.0 technologies successfully. Then I also have 4 different case studies. However, because of the time frame, it won't be possible to complete all the case studies. I will be trying to complete at least 2 case studies in the available time frame. Okay. So we will continue our discussions with reference to the Industry 4.0 technologies. So dear friends, the first industrial revolution started with replacement of the manual efforts to do the work by mechanization using the water power and the steam power. Then in the second industrial revolution, particularly at the World War, the mass production came into existence, assembly line came into existence, and electricity has changed the manufacturing world. In the third industrial revolutions, computer, PLC, automations, all these entered into the industries, and it has changed the entire industrial world. The computing power has been increased dramatically. Automations have replaced the manual work to a lot of extent, and people started receiving the benefit of computerization and automation. And today we are in the fourth industrial revolution, where we are connected with the cyber physical systems. Particularly, we are dealing with the cyber physical systems, where each component is connected with the another component, each machine is connected with the another machine, each equipment is connected with the another equipment, each assembly line is connected with the another assembly line, each organization is connected with the another organization, and in this manner the entire supply chain is connected, entire one supply chain is connected with the another supply chain, and so on. So different systems are connected. There are the typical characteristics of the cyber physical systems, particularly maturation of new cyber physical technologies of artificial intelligence, 3D printing, and the robotics. When I talk about the artificial intelligence, basically artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, it has changed the definitions of utilization of the machines. Machines are becoming more and more smart. They are taking their own decisions. They are becoming autonomous, and they are learning themselves. So machines have started learning based on the existing environment, based on the environment available for their working. So machines are receiving the inputs from the environment with reference to speed, feed, depth of cut, then surface roughness, noise, wind speed, whatever those are. So the data is being captured by the machines, and the machines, they themselves are identifying some of the key inferences out of that data and becoming more and more autonomous and taking their own decisions which are useful for the businesses. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the deep learning, these things are connected with each other. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Then the 3D printing. 3D printing has changed the manufacturing world. Particularly, the manufacturing definition is going to be changed in the coming era. Almost any complex job, any complex product, any complex designed product can be manufactured by using 3D printing, additive manufacturing, layer by layer manufacturing. And the biggest advantage is that it can offer the customized products. So 3D printing allows us to offer the customized products. Particularly, every person can get the product as per his or her own requirements with reference to shape, size, color, and many more. Robotics, yes, robotics has entered our life, and in the coming era, people will be connected with the robot, and people will be making use of robot for their work activities. Robot will be available as the attendants, and it will be a very common feature. Now our mobile is available with us, and mobile is a very common feature of today's lifestyle. In that manner, robot will be a very common feature in the tomorrow's lifestyle. Data analytics, particularly to the big data analytics, this has came into existence. Here, when I talk about the data analytics, yes, as the machines are connected, systems are connected, components are connected, one supply chain is connected with another supply chain, all the different organizations are connected, there is a huge data being captured. This huge data is expected to be analyzed, and for that purpose we need the big data analytics. When I talk about the big data, it talks about the 3V. One is high volume, then high velocity, and the high variety. So data is generated in a huge volume. If I talk about 2020, then it will be as good as 40 zettabyte data generated at the end of the, will be generated at the end of the 2020. So the huge data is being generated. And please remember, till date, we have captured only 5% of the data available on this planet. As good as 95% of the data is not even captured. There are so many things on the planet which are not connected, and that data is not being captured. So there is a big career opportunities in the data analytics. So as I have already talked about, big volume, particularly high volume, then high velocity. The data is being generated with a enormous speed from the different corners of the world, from the different corners, sources of the different organizations. And it is the variety of the data. When I talk about the variety of the data, it means you can imagine that the organization like Amazon having n number of customers. If one customer buy at least 10 products per year, and for every single product there are at least 10 different features as per his or her preferences, then you can imagine how much will be the total data being generated and how much will be the variety of the data. And hence I say it is a high volume. So high, particularly more volume, more variety, and more speed. These are the characteristics of the big data. Then pervasive sensing and the actuation. Here the sensors, particularly the smart sensors, are incorporated. Smart sensors are installed to capture almost all kind of physical parameters. However, this installation is not so easy, but it is possible. And when it is possible, the smart sensors can capture the data. The data is sent to the cloud through the gateway and the edge computing. At the cloud, it is analyzed. Here, the ubiquitous connectivity throughout the supply chain. Another important feature of the cyber physical system is there is a connectivity between the different systems. When I talk about the supply chain, the supplier, original equipment manufacturer, warehouse manager, distributor, retailer, customer, and the user, all are connected. And the product, the entire product life cycle is being tracked, and the data is being captured, how the product is being manufactured and how the product is being handled, how the product is being replenished across the supply chain, and how the product is being used by the customer, if it is being abused or it is appropriately being used with the appropriate maintenance. Then unprecedented level of data and the increased computing powers. As I have already talked about, the data is being generated from the different corners, different sources of the different systems. The huge amount of the data is being generated, and For this purpose, the huge computing powers are also necessary. And yes, in industrial 4, particularly industry 4.0 technologies, the huge computing power is another important feature of the cyber physical system. Now let us move towards what is this industry 4.0 technologies. So as I have already said that the systems are connected. Particularly think about the typewriter, think about the printer. If the cartridge of the printer is exhausted, then the printer will send an email for refilling the cartridge. Similarly, if the milk or butter is exhausted, then the refrigerator will send the email to the dairy for replenishment of the milk or the butter, and so on. That is going to be a very common feature. Now the question is in our mind is, if all these activities are done by the different systems and the systems are becoming smart, then what is going to happen with the human being? What human being will be doing? Yes, this is a key question. One can think of this. If the machines are becoming smarter, robots are available for doing the work, then what work will be done by the human being? Dear friends, our whole time will be invested in managing the different gadgets, managing the different appliances, managing the different equipments, different machines and the systems. There will be a digital twins. The digital twins will be interacting with our robot. So I will have a robot. That robot will be interacting with the digital twin of a particular organization. And there will be the communication between the digital twin and my robot. And my robot will be interacting with me also. Okay. So finally, I have to give the necessary inputs to my robot, and that my robot will be interacting with the digital twin, and whenever there is a real need for the intervention, then only I shall be putting in efforts for doing the work. Otherwise, my robot will be interacting with the outside world and managing most of the scenarios. But my whole time will be invested in managing the different systems. Particularly, communication is going to be a key component across the whole life. Now, when I talk about the Industry 4.0, particularly the cloud computing, why do we need the cloud computing? As I have already talked about, the data will be captured by the smart sensors which are fitted, which are installed in the machines to capture almost all kind of different parameters like speed, pressure, temperature, then surface roughness, whatever it is. So this data will be sent to the cloud for two purposes. One, to store the data, because the huge amount of the data cannot be stored in our own organization. We need some external services for storing the huge amount of the data. Those external services are offered by cloud. So one important function will be the storage, and the second important function will be analysis of that data. So cloud computing services will be offered as one of the important dimensions of the Industry 4.0 technologies. And this data analysis at the cloud, that data analysis will be giving a very important business inference. For example, the sale of diapers and the sale of the beer bottles. The practitioners have identified that the sale of diapers and the sale of the beer bottles are maximum on the Friday evening. Now, why the sale is maximum for these two different items? Because many people go for the outing and they enjoy the weekends, they celebrate the weekends. For doing these things, they need the diapers for the children, and at the same time they also need the beer bottles for the celebrations. So in this manner, the business inferences can be taken from the cloud computing, and we can establish the correlations with the two totally different element in the system. That intelligent correlation can be established, and the business inference has been derived, and that will be used for demand forecasting. Then when I talk about the augmented reality and the virtual reality, yes, augmented reality and virtual reality is going to change the entire system as such. Particularly the maintenance world will be receiving the huge change due to the augmented reality and the virtual reality. For this purpose, the goggles, the helmet, such kind of wears are available. These wear facilitate the operator to understand the important dimensions with reference to the system. For example, the operator can understand what is the flow inside the different pipes, what are the different flow characteristics, and the operator can also understand some intricate shapes of the machines. For example, a subject, all the engineers have studied the engineering drawing as such, engineering graphics as such. So in the first year of engineering, we studied the 2D figures, two-dimensional figures, front view, top view, side view. And the missing view is very difficult to prepare. Now, by using this augmented reality, it is possible to understand, possible to see the 3D picture of that particular drawing just by using the appropriate goggle or by using the appropriate helmet or like this. So these things are possible. Okay. So let us move ahead with this. The Industry 4.0 refers to a new phase in the industrial revolution that focuses heavily on the interconnectivity, automation, machine learning, and the real-time data. So what is the basic difference between the Industry 4.0 technologies and the available technologies? The available technologies are creating the data, and that data is being captured. However, that data is not captured as a real-time data and not being analyzed as a real-time data. The biggest advantage of the Industry 4.0 technologies is the real-time data is being captured. For example, I am driving a car from one location to another location. The different parameters connected with the driving, particularly driving speed, the tire pressure, the fuel consumption, and many more things. So all these, the braking pattern, then the wind speed, and many more. So all these different parameters will be captured in real time, and at the cloud computing, a business inference can be taken that there, particularly the clutch plate may wear out after this much timeline, or after so so many kilometers, or there may be a replacement of the brake pads. So we need the replacement of the brake pads after so many kilometers. So such kind of business inferences, some intelligent business inferences based on the real-time data capturing can be taken. Then Industry 4.0 also sometimes refers to as IIoT or smart manufacturing. IIoT stands for Industry Internet of Things or smart manufacturing, marries physical production operations with smart digital technology, machine learning, big data to create a more holistic and better connected ecosystem for companies that focus on manufacturing and supply chain management. Yes. So here the blockchain came into existence. When I talk about the supply chain, particularly the blockchain is going to redefine the entire supply chain. Blockchain is a totally new kind of a technology where all the players in the supply chain are expected to be on the blockchain technology. They have to adopt the blockchain technology. They have to sign the contract agreement, and with reference to the contract agreement, they have to share the data on the blockchain, and that data is shared by trusting on the blockchain. So trust is created by not trusting anyone. That is the essence of the blockchain. So you can imagine that there is one big supply chain where supplier, manufacturer, that is original equipment manufacturer, wholesale, particularly warehouse manager, distributor, then a retailer, and the customer and the user. So the players will be available on the blockchain, and players can understand how the entire data is being, how the entire product is moving from one stage to another stage, and what value is being added on the product, and what particularly what are the different features of replenishment, and how the product is being used at the customer. So there won't be the blame in case of the blockchain technology, and nobody can temper the data, nobody can alter the data. So that is the beauty of the blockchain technology. And when we integrate the blockchain with the IoT, that is blockchain IoT integrated architecture, it means we are collecting the real-time data from the system, and this data is uploaded on the blockchain, and the player on the blockchain can access the data from any corner of the world. That is the beauty. However, the player cannot alter the data. So the biggest advantage is the transparency. The user can understand, yes, this is the particular product, and these are the different components in the product, and these different components are tested with these different machines with these particular typical test. Let us say I buy a mobile phone. My mobile phone is really tested for the drop test or not? I'm not aware about it. As on today, I don't have any knowledge whether the company has really conducted the drop test for my mobile or not, or at least for the entire lot or not. What the company might have skipped the drop test. That may be one of the possibility. So it is necessary that we have to have the data with reference to the different parameters connected with our products, and the user should be aware about it. Original equipment manufacturer should be aware about it. Supplier should be aware about it. Whether suppliers should be aware about whether the product is being abused by the customer, wrongly used by the customer, and then asking for the replacement. So that blame game can be avoided by using the blockchain. Ultimately, it's a network of these machines that are digitally connected with one another and create and share information that results in true power of Industry 4.0. Now let us move with another features, salient features of Industry 4.0 technologies. Now, when I talk about the Industry 4.0, then first important thing is connectivity and the communication. As I have already told you that connectivity is the first important master key for the entire Industry 4.0 technologies. You cannot imagine that there is a power failure. If there is a power failure, the entire Industry 4.0 technology will collapse. Okay. So we have to have the appropriate infrastructure which is reliable enough. Recently, Mumbai suffered power failure for as good as 3 hours. It was unpredicted power failure. A city like Mumbai, one of the top cities in India, suffered as power failure on a working day. It is totally unpredictable. So these are the big challenges of the Industry 4.0 technologies. You cannot imagine such kind of issues. Okay, so connectivity, that uptime of the system are essential things. Then when I talk about the connectivity, communication, there are two things. One is Industry Internet of Things and another cloud and cyber security. Cyber security, yes, it is another important dimension. Why it is so much important? Because we are sharing the data. So as we are sharing the data, we are basically losing our privacy. So at one side, we are reaping the benefits of Industry 4.0 technologies. At the other side, we are losing our privacy, and it is not really something undesirable. Another important dimension is the cyber security. Particularly, as good as 65% of the business heads across the globe, they have accepted that their organizations suffered due to the cyber attacks. And it's a big number, very big number. 65% is a very big number. So cyber security must be available to establish the Industry 4.0 technologies appropriately. It means we should have the very good system to safeguard our systems from the cyber attacks, from the miscreants, from the attackers, from the hackers, and so on. One example I can give. Let us say that a pacemaker is installed. The pacemaker is implanted in a human body, in a patient's body, and that pacemaker is connected to the system for capturing the health data, for giving the medical prescription. So it is a good objective. So doctors can understand the variations in the health parameters, and based on that, doctor can give the medical prescription. So the pacemaker which is installed in the patient's body is connected to the system, and based on that connectivity, the doctors are giving the appropriate treatment to the patient. This is one positive sign of application of Industry 4.0 technology. What is the negative sign? The miscreant in the society, the hackers in the society, antisocial elements in the society may capture that pacemaker, may attack on that pacemaker, digital attack, and capture the entire data and blackmail the patient for their vested interest. So these are the possibilities. Then we move towards the big data and the analytics. As on today, in the different industries, enterprise resource plannings, SCM, supply chain management, customer relationship management, these things are already there. All the best industries are working with this. However, we need one step ahead where all these things are connected and the huge data is being generated. Particularly, all kind of data is being captured from the different activities across the industries, and that data is being analyzed to come out with the intelligent decisions. Then artificial intelligence, machine learning based development of the intelligent algorithm for various applications. I already talked about it. Advanced robotics, I talked about it. Then 3D printing. Yes. So the customized products will be available as on real time on demand production. The 3D printing of the spare parts and the prototypes will be possible. And 3D printing is going to redefine the manufacturing world in the coming era, because the manufacturing process will be substituted by the 3D printing. Then augmented reality, displaying of the process relevant additional information which is not possible for the naked eyes. Okay, so the areas of maintenance, logistics, that is possible by using augmented reality and the virtual realities. All of us are using the GPS system. All of us are using the Google Map. While driving, we use the Google Map to understand what is the particularly what is the traffic condition on the road. So as on today, we are dependent on the Google Map in a 2D fashion. However, we have not experienced, at least today in India, we have not experienced the real traffic conditions, the particularly augmented reality based the traffic conditions. Tomorrow, based on that augmented reality, virtual reality based, the traffic conditions will be available on the screen, and we can see the cars moving, and we can also understand which cars are moving at what speed and what kind of traffic jam is available, and whether the traffic jam can be solved in the next 15 minutes or so on. Simulation is one important dimension which has entered in Industry 4.0 technologies, particularly, which help us to optimize through the real-time database simulations of the products and the scenarios. It helps us to optimize the product performance. So before manufacturing the product and selling it to the market, we can conduct the experimentation in the laboratory, and these are the simulation based experimentation. These simulations can be done on the computer also, and we can give the input conditions and we can understand the performance of our product for the given input conditions. So the input conditions, boundary conditions, these will be set by the operator, and the operator will explore how the product will perform in these particular conditions. So that performance is analyzed and the optimum performance characteristic can be established. So origin of Industry 4.0, let me check what time it is. It is 7:24. Okay. So Germany has introduced Industry 4.0 concept. Germany has one of the most competitive manufacturing industries in the world and is even a global leader in the sector of manufacturing equipment. 3I, that is instrumentation, I have already talked about it, the smart sensor, the interconnectivity. All the systems are connected with each other, and the intelligence. The systems will be intelligent enough to take their own decisions. Then Industry 4.0 is a strategic initiative of the German government that traditionally heavily supports development of the industrial sector. Okay, fine. So let us move ahead with the different technologies what I would like to talk about. So already I have given you idea with reference to these technologies. With reference to the augmented reality, we have the software like Vuforia, augmented reality SDK. These kind of softwares are used for the augmented reality. Then for big data, Hadoop kind of software is available. For cyber security, SiteLock software is available. Then for cloud, the cloud computing is the particular cloud Ubuntu software is available. Then for IoT, Arduino software is available, and so on. So for system integration, Attunity Connect software is available, and so on. So various softwares have been developed by the practitioners, and these can be utilized for reaping the benefits of the different technologies. For simulation, n number of softwares are available. However, the MATLAB, COMSOL, Urban Sim, these are some popular softwares available for the simulation purpose. For additive manufacturing, CAD, additive manufacturing, machine firmware, such kind of softwares are available. Okay, so as I have already talked about the different technologies, I will now skip these things and move ahead. This is basically with reference to the capabilities of the Industry 4.0 technologies, capabilities, limitations, and the applications. You can understand what are the limitations. Now we talked about the capability and the applications. Let us understand what are the limitations. When I talk about the augmented reality, yes, the installation of the augmented reality technology required specialized systems with high computing power and the programming skills. That is the limitation. If I talk about the big data, then handling the huge data is a big challenge. Another important dimension is the unnecessary data is being captured, and this unnecessary data which is already captured is basically a noise in our system. It is to be eliminated. Then inconsistency in the data collection, transferability, security, prioritizing correlations. These are the typical limitations and the challenges with reference to the big data. With reference to the cyber security, the practical implementation of the cyber security and the cloud computing is required moderate bandwidth of the internet to share or use the data of the organization. Okay. Then IoT has the limitations related to security and privacy of the data. IoT develops the diverse network to connect the various devices, and a single loophole can affect the entire system. As I have already told you, security is one of the important dimensions. Okay. Then for system integration, the limitation is the system integration implementation is very complex and challenging, which needs substantial high investment. It also involves high vendor dependency and inflexibility at the time of operation. Why there is a big challenge in the system integration? Because different systems are using the different softwares with the different specifications and the different constraints and the different kind of the applications. And when we are integrating the different systems, particularly these softwares are not compatible with each other, and hence there are the big challenges. Then additive manufacturing, yes, material selection is a key issue in the additive manufacturing 3D printing. 3D, see, you can manufacture a building, I say a residential building or office building by additive manufacturing. Yes, people have done it. I don't remember the exact location, but I think it is a European country where the entire building is manufactured, office building is manufactured by additive manufacturing. So you can create any shape, any product by using additive manufacturing 3D printing, but the material is a key concern. So differences in the material properties, that is another concern. You cannot use the different kind of material like wood or steel or aluminum simply. Then high initial investment and required maintenance expertise. Yes, additive manufacturing has the limitations of high initial investment, and it also requires the maintenance expertise. Okay. When I talk about the simulation, simulation needs model validation, which can take a long time. Simulation cannot give a guarantee of the accurate results. Why do we go for the simulation? We go for the simulation particularly when we want to launch a new product. Then before launching the new product, we want to design, develop, manufacture, and test it. Okay. Nowadays, the product is tested on the computer before manufacturing. So that testing is a simulation testing, and that simulation is done. However, this simulation is done to reduce the cost and to reduce the efforts, to reduce the time. As we wanted to reduce the cost, efforts, and time, we have to compromise on the accuracy of the results. The simulation results are different than the real life results. We cannot believe 100% on the simulation results. Then autonomous robot required a high initial cost for complex operations and destruction. It is economical only for the mass or massive construction and useful for managing few risks of the projects. Okay. So Industry 4.0 components, these are the components. The future of the manufacturing drives on the following four aspects. Modularity. Modularity means we are going to design and develop a product in a modular way. Okay, you might have heard about the modular kitchen, where there are the different trolleys, and these trolleys can be taken out and cleaned. So servicing, cleaning, that will be very much easy. So that modularity helps us in the maintenance, modularity helps in servicing, modularity helps in cleaning of the components and so on, even replacement. So autonomy, machines are becoming autonomous, systems are becoming autonomous. Connectivity, already talked. Digital twin, yes, the entire future is going to revolve around the digital twin, where tomorrow's manager will have the multiple digital twins. Tomorrow's manager will be having multiple digital twins and managing these multiple digital twins for doing different activities, particularly for interacting with the robo of the different organizations. These are going to happen. Next, Industry 4.0 applications, I already talked about it. Okay. Now the benefits, yeah, production cost can be reduced to 30%, logistic cost can be reduced by 30%, quality management cost can be reduced by 20%. There are the reasons why to go for the Industry 4.0. Shorter time to market and improved customer responsiveness, enabling a custom mass production without significantly increasing the overall production cost. Okay, Now I will talk about the challenges in implementation of Industry 4.0 technology in the next 2 minutes. Basically, as on today, the country means I'm talking about India, the complete ecosystem for establishing the Industry 4.0 technology. There is a lack of digital culture across the country. We have 138 crore population in India. Out of 138 crore, how many people have the digital skills? How many people can work on these different technologies? A big question mark. Another, lack of digital policy, lack of regulations, standards, and forms of certifications. We have to formulate the digital policy. We have to implement that digital policy. We have to have the appropriate kind of rules, regulations, framework, standards, and forms of certifications for digitizations. When we go for the blockchain implementation, there are multiple issues with reference to data sharing. Nobody wants to share the data. Nobody. And blockchain demands the data sharing. And when the organizations share the data, organizations are afraid about losing the business secrets. So there are a lot of legal issues involved in that. And data security. Already talked about the cyber security. So unclear legal issues and the data security are some of the important challenges. High economic cost and unclear economic benefits. Implementation of all these technologies as per the requirement is not so easy, particularly demand a huge cost. And we are not sure about the payback period. We are not sure about the return on investments. Then there is a big challenge of conversion of the existing system to Industry 4.0 enabled system, because all the companies, they have their own manufacturing systems, which installed maybe 10 years back or 5 years back or 15 years back. Okay. So these are 5, 10, 15 years old systems with their own softwares. Now, when you want to convert these systems into Industry 4.0 enabled system, that is a very big challenge. Then need to maintain the integrity of the production process, reliability and stability needed for the critical machine-to-machine communications. And there is a general reluctance to change by the stakeholders. So these are the real-life cases, real-life challenges. Now let us move towards important case. I have another few minutes. Madam, how many minutes do I have right now? Madam? Nisha, madam? Hello? How much time I do have? Can you tell me? Okay. So I have the case study, redesigning the business organization using disruptive innovations based on blockchain IoT integrated architecture. This was basically a research article which is already published in a reputed international journal. As this research article will be giving you the overall idea with reference to blockchain IoT integrated architecture for the pumping systems for one oil and gas well organization. So what is the purpose of this research article? Blockchain and IoT technologies have recently gained much attention for the Industry 4.0. With the emergence of these disruptive technologies, it has become essential to redesign the business for the innovations. That is the purpose of the research article. Methodology: an industrial pump was sensorized and IoTized to monitor its operations on real time for taking predictive measures for managing these assets with more agility. The developed IoT architecture was further extended for proposing the use of blockchain and how jointly it can benefit the organization. Okay. The use of blockchain in the IoT is relatively recent. Blockchain has matured well in finance and banking domain. However, work related to the blockchain with IoT has not matured well. This gives an opportunity to explore this area. Then this article presents a case study with an IoT implemented architecture for optimizing the pumping system and improving system agility. This work also proposes the blockchain IoT integrated architecture, which gives a new dimension to the Industry 4.0. So what were the challenges? Try to understand what this case is all about. It's a huge organization which has more than 400 plus oil wells, which are scattered over more than 450 square kilometer area. And for every single well, there are the pumping stations. You can very well understand it. So when it's a huge area and all the wells are distributed across the area, these wells are not close to each other. So pumping system is a key system in the entire organization for particular this organization. And some or other pump demand the maintenance. Some or other pump call for the maintenance. So there is a lack of visibility and the traceability between the stakeholders. Why there is a lack of visibility or traceability? For example, a particular pump is manufactured by a original equipment manufacturer. At that time, the shaft is supplied by the supplier. Now the shaft is not appropriately tested for its balancing, or shaft is not appropriately tested for its operations. So if that shaft is not tested for the balancing, or it is suffering due to some other issues like different grade of the material, the shaft will not give the necessary performance in the system. Okay. Now, if a particular test is not carried out at the supplier place and that shaft is directly sent to the original equipment manufacturer, where that shaft is directly assembled in the pump. Okay. Now, during operation, due to the poor material quality or due to the inappropriate balancing, the shaft breaks or deforms or doesn't perform appropriately. Then the user, the operator, finally give the complaint that shaft is not working, and the original equipment manufacturer give the complaint to the supplier. That so there is always a lack of visibility. Nobody really know whether the shaft was not appropriately tested at the supplier place, whether the shaft material was not appropriate. So that lack of visibility is expected to be overcome by using the blockchain. I shall explain it afterwards. Here, so lack of visibility and the traceability between the shareholders, that is one business challenge. Then the trust issues and the blame game between the parties. So if the breakdown happen, then the supplier will blame the user for poor maintenance of the pump. Original equipment manufacturer will also think that the user might have used it in an inappropriate way. That might have been done, and hence there is a breakdown. So there is always a blame game between the parties. Data manipulation, poor quality of data, data loss, security breaches, these are another important business challenges. So you can understand that it's a 450 square kilometer area where there are more than 400 oil wells, and when there is a maintenance call, the maintenance technician move from the control room to the particular oil well, carry out the maintenance, and again come back to the control room, and then feed the data into the ERP. Now, in a one day, the maintenance operator might have checked 3-4 pumps. There is a great possibility that he will not, particularly while feeding the data into the ERP system, he doesn't enter all the data accurately. Sometimes there are the lapses in the data filling, particularly some of the data is lost. Sometimes the data is not appropriately recorded, and hence it is not appropriately fed into the ERP system. And sometimes the data is manipulated with some intentions. So these are the possibilities. So these are the business challenges. Then irregular service, maintenance, no visibility of the equipment that are vulnerable to failure. So really we do not know which particular bearing of which particular pump is going to exhaust its life in this week. So in a real time scenario, if there are 400 different oil wells, 400 plus different oil wells, there are n number of pumping systems in these oil wells, and for all those n number of pumping systems, there are n number of different bearings. So which bearing is going to exhaust its life in this week? Nobody knows. So when it actually fails, then only that maintenance request is given, and based on that, the breakdown maintenance is carried out. So there is a high turnaround time, failure occurrence, reporting, work order creation, shutdown, spare checking, ordering, fixing, etc. No visibility on the stakeholder responsible for premature failure. So what are the customer requirements? Increase uptime of the asset. We want all the assets in a well-maintained fashion as per the industry benchmark. Increase return on investment and return on assets as per the industry benchmark. We need to reduce the turnaround time. We want asset self-auditing and monitoring overall asset performance and utilization at the real time. So we want our systems to be smart enough to monitor their own performance. We want to minimize the accidents due to the asset breakdown. We wanted to increase the customer satisfaction. We wanted to increase the collaboration between the stakeholders, have a trustless framework. So this is the overall overview of the case study. So in general, as I have already talked about, there are 450 plus locations at which there are the pumping systems, and these pumping systems suffer due to the breakdown maintenance, and there are more than 6,500 plus breakdown maintenance hours per year. Due to that, there is as good as 25,000 plus breakdown maintenance miles driven by the technician, maintenance guy, right from the control room to the different locations, and again coming back. And due to that, there are the huge losses as good as $50 million. Okay, so these are the real-time challenges. Now, here you can understand manual inspection is to be done at the location. Work orders are manually created in the enterprise applications. Job scheduling and the dispatch is done And finally, manual entry of the work order description in ERP, manual work order closing in the ERP. So this maintenance guy again come back to the control room and feed the data into the ERP, and this is a manual activity. And when it is a manual activity, there is a data loss, there is a data manipulation, and some of the data is not at all thought of. Okay. So lack of automated inspection, high turnaround time, high downtime, key equipment data loss, no visibility on vulnerable equipment, lack of safety measures, lack of asset utilization, difficult to locate and identify the assets. These are the real life challenges. So root cause analysis and the reliability assessment is to be done. The reliability of the existing system was found to be 4.42% for 10,000 hours of operation. So fault tree analysis was developed for 300 events. So this is the complete analysis given in our research article. So pump assembly failed due to various reasons. One of the important reason is motor failure, another coupling failure, then pump failure, and the mounting failure. So why do the motor fail? Fail to start, rotor damage, stator damage, rotor bar failure, bearing failure, and the shaft broken. These are the different possibilities for the motor failure. When we talk about the coupling, then hub damage, keyway failure, key failure, electrostatic element failure, flange fastener failure. These are the possibilities for the coupling failure. Then when I talk about the mounting failure, there are again two options: base frame failure and the foundation failure. So you can think of it. Then here, the pump assembly failed due to the pump failure. How the pump failure take place? The pump set failure, impeller failure, casing failure, pump shaft failure, and the mechanical seal failure. These are the possibilities of the pump failure. Now, pump set failure will take place due to insufficient net positive suction head, suction and discharge, cavitation, insufficient pressure, pump leakage, and so on. Then the impeller failure will take place due to the chamber vane wear, corrosion, cavitation damage, loose on shaft, wear ring damage, and so on. So in this manner, the detailed fault tree analysis has been prepared. Okay. So data was collected from the ERP and the enterprise asset management module for the year 2017. Data was collected for the breakdown maintenance work orders also. Okay. All the components are connected in series, and system reliability can be computed by multiplying the reliabilities of the each component. Okay, I have already talked about it. The reliability was identified as a 4.42% for the 10,000 hours of operations. Fine. Why the reliability is so less? Because most of the components are organized. Most of the components are connected with each other in series, and hence the reliability is very, very less. Okay. So parameters and their significance regarding the mitigating the failure. So parameter captured are flow, pressure, vibration, temperature, and RPM. So what are the effects observed for the flow? Insufficient flow or no flow? What can be the causes for the insufficient flow? Pump set failure, cavitation, broken impeller, improper impeller, insufficient speed, blockage, insufficient NPSH, viscosity. These are the different causes for the insufficient flow or no flow. If I talk about the intermittent flow, then pump set failure, air leakage at the suction, excessive air or vapor trap, loss of priming. These are the possibilities with reference to the intermittent flow. If I think about the vibrations, then yes, excessive vibration is one of the effect observed. What are the different causes? The coupling failure, shaft misalignment, loose mounting on the foundation, imbalance of the shaft, impeller, bearing failure, water hammer, seal failure. So we have identified so many different causes for every single parameter variation. Okay. So if the parameters show abnormal variation, then what are the different causes for those variations? Those have been captured and shown in this slide. Is it fine? Shall we move ahead? Now the IoT architecture. Here we are showing you one IoT architecture for the available industrial pump. So this is the industrial pump. This industrial pump particularly the suction flow rate, delivery flow rate, suction pressure, delivery pressure, hours of operation on premises database. All these things are under existing automation layer, PLC and the SCADA production parameters. So these are already existing. Okay. Now the external sensors, particularly the motor temperature, shaft bearing temperature, motor speed, electrical signature, vibration, and the number of revolutions. These are the external sensors. Okay, so all this data is expected to be captured and sent to the cloud, and it is to be sent through the IoT gateway. And while sending, it is to be analyzed at the edge connectivity or the edge computing. The question is, when it is going to be analyzed at the cloud computing, why do we need the analysis at the edge computing? This is important point for the discussion, because if there are few things, for example, equipment is being used without the appropriate maintenance, and the equipment is going to suffer due to that abnormal maintenance pattern and abnormal working environment, and the equipment may fail due to the abnormal working environment and the poor maintenance pattern. Then before sending the data to the cloud and then receiving the business inference, it is always desirable to analyze the data at the edge connectivity and the edge computing, because here we will be sending the data from the sensors through IoT gateway to IoT cloud. So there may be a time lag, and if there is a time lag, and during that time lag, if the equipment failure takes place, then there will be a big loss to the company. To avoid that loss due to the time lag, we have to have the edge connectivity and the edge computing before sending the data to the cloud. So here at edge connectivity and edge computing, the data is analyzed when it is a particularly important data or some abnormal issues are happening. That data is expected to be analyzed over here only, and the business inference is expected to be derived from that, and the corrective actions are expected to be taken before the failure occurs. So it is a smart way of managing the equipment or appliance or machine. Then at IoT, it is the device registration equipment and device modeling, then stream exploration, stream analytics, and event processing and rule engine. So at IoT platform, particularly here, the data is stored, and at big data cloud, it is the data is analyzed with reference to the different business inferences, and the new business inferences have been identified. Useful value addition is done based on these business inferences. Okay, so this is about the IoT. Then data connection, the reliability assessment, post IoT fine. The entire solution is presently a lab setup. At that time, it was the lab setup when it was done, as good as 2.5 years back. Then was monitored for a sample of setups. So Delphi method was used to collect the rating that correspond to failure probability of each event in the fault tree. Survival probability was computed from the failure probabilities, and the reliability of the system was computed. Okay, so failure probabilities of those events are collected and verified from more than 30 experts and the consultants who had relevant experience in pumps and the rotary equipments. Okay, so here we can say that the reliability of the system has been improvised from 4.5% to 51%, even more than 51% for the 10,000 hours of operation. So reliability is increased dramatically from 4.5% to 51%. Now, what are the challenges in existing IoT architecture? As I have already talked about it. So there is a pump shaft, and this pump shaft is suffering due to the excessive, the the pump shaft and the bearing assembly that suffer due to the vibrations. Okay. Now, here you can understand, particularly centralized processing and storage. High processing time due to the centralization. Lack of scalability to meet the growing needs of large IoT ecosystems. These are some of the challenges which have been listed down for the IoTized environment. Then high infrastructure and maintenance costs associated with the centralized clouds, large server farms, and networking equipments. Data security breaches can be very critical in case human health or important transactions are dependent on IoT. So these are the players: shaft vendor, bearing vendor, OEM, outsourced authorized technicians, and the transporter. And there is a blame game if the breakdown maintenance happen. So the user will blame the original equipment manufacturer. Original equipment manufacturer will blame the vendor, vendor of the shaft or vendor of the bearing, and these vendors will blame the user for abusing the equipment or for not maintaining the equipment. So these are the common possibilities. So projected business benefit for IoT based pump solutions. I have another few minutes in hand. Let me finish this case study appropriately. So operational survival probability from increased from 4.42% to 51.46%. So it is more than 50% now for 10,000 hours of operation. Effective predictive maintenance and on-time maintenance will reduce asset breakdown by at least 15% and will enhance the asset life by approximately 10%. So these are the benefits. Okay. Now, blockchain IoT integrated architecture. Here you can understand that these are the various players: shaft vendor, bearing vendor, original equipment manufacturer, technician, end customer, transporter. All these vendors are available on the blockchain based on their blockchain agreement. And based on the blockchain agreement, the data is being captured from their system and directly uploaded on the blockchain, and it is visible for all the players. Okay, so the data from the transporter, end customer, technician, OEM, shaft and bearing vendor, the data with reference to their different operations in their organizations. So how the bearing is manufactured, how the bearing, which material is used, how it is assembled, how it is basically which manufacturing processes are being carried out, how those manufacturing processes are carried out, how the bearing is tested, how the inspection is carried out, how the quality is maintained, how the assembly is done, and so on and so on and so on. So at the shaft vendor, again similar things. At OEM, how the pump manufacturing take place, how the assembly is taken place, and so on. At the technician, particularly what technician does, what particular element technician has changed, and what particular at what time the maintenance activity has been carried out. And at end customer, how the equipment is being used. So the entire data is being captured automatically by using IoT, and it is uploaded on the blockchain based on the agreement. Now it is a decentralized distributed ledger. It gives you the complete transparency across the blockchain. So it is the supply chain, and it gives you the complete transparency. Supply chain based on the blockchain. It gives you the trust. The trust is created by not trusting anyone. And all the transactions are the worry-free transactions. Those transactions will be there permanently. And it is 24/7 by 365 days across the year. So all the data is available throughout the year at any time. So you can access the data from any corner of the world, and all the data is tamper-proof data. Nobody can change it. And there is a complete visibility, complete traceability, complete accessibility. Nobody can fool others. That is the beauty of the blockchain. Okay. So when you integrate these two big technologies, IoT and the blockchain, you get a redefined business. Okay. So if there is a breakdown failure of the shaft, then what went wrong? Whether the appropriate material was selected for the shaft, whether the appropriate machining was carried out for the shaft, whether the appropriate balancing was done for the shaft or not, then whether the appropriate shaft bearing assembly was established, whether the appropriate allowances were kept, and so on. So all the data is available for everybody, and nobody can blame others in that case. Okay. So these are the projected business benefit of the blockchain IoT integrated architecture: non-temperable, time-stamped record available with all stakeholders across the network and reduced conflicts, complete transparency and traceability on all activities, ease of backtracking, and root cause analysis. You can easily identify what went wrong at what particular location, with what particular environmental conditions, with what particular input conditions. Okay, so the ecosystem for the successful blockchain IoT integrated architecture implementation, we will have the variety of the inputs like IoT, education records, government policies, customs, regulatory certifications, financial transactions, maintenance distributions, and many more. And we'll be getting variety of the inputs like easy identification of the frauds, no tedious reconciliations, no loss of data, non-temperable records, trustless transactions, information available to all stakeholders, implementation of the disputes on measures of mutuality, improvement in agility for managing the assets, and many more. So finally, we conclude. The blockchain IoT integrated architecture enables the industry to spend less time on wandering and spending more time towards taking intelligent, productive decisions for improving agility in the industry 4.0. Okay, this is one case study what I have successfully completed. If I have the time, then I shall move for the second case study. This is one more research article published by our research team in a reputed journal, International Journal of Mechanical and Production Engineering Research. Here it is the IoT enabled transformer manufacturing company, where the manufacturing of the transformer, this particular environment is taken into consideration, and the different activities of the transformer manufacturing line are enabled with the IoT. Okay, so I shall directly show you the different benefits what we have received. The labor respondent in storage section. The labor respondent in the storage section says that the time required before IoT, it was more than 34 minutes, and the time required after IoT has been reduced to 18 minutes. The enabling technologies here are RFID, QR code, automatic cleaner, automatic guided vehicles. These were the enabling technologies, where automatic check of request bill was done by RFID or QR code. Then comparing and verifying search parts with the request bill automatically by using RFID. Automatic compressed air cleaning of the parts take place, and signal to automatic guided vehicles to move parts to the assembly line. All these things are done in the storage section by using IoT. Now, labor responded in the core mounting section has also responded, and these are the outcomes. The time required has been reduced from 31 minutes to 18 minutes. RFID, QR code, position sensors are the enabling technologies, where automatic check of bills has been carried out. This automatic update of the information related to the parts received on the assembly line from storage sections, start and stop of the automatic winding rotor. There is one more section, like solder and tape mounting section, where the time is reduced from 31 minutes to 19 minutes. Again, the enabling technologies are RFID, QR code, and the position centers with the automatic check of the bills, where automatic update of information related to the parts received on the assembly line from storage section. Here, detection of the misalignment of the tape base while mounting, and automatic detection of the solder size by thickness sensor. So these things are done in the different sections. Okay, now in the testing section, the time is reduced from 56 minutes to 35 minutes. Technologies are RFID, QR code, object scanner, automatic check of bills, automatic cleaning of the parts by using compressed air, and automatic scanning, that is the image processing of final part to detect missing of the components. These things are done. Okay. So finally, the rejection rate has been reduced dramatically from 25% to 10%. Then the time, particularly non-value added activity time. See, there are some activities which are particularly value-added activities, non-value-added activities, non-value-added but necessary activities. So our objective is to eliminate the non-value-added activities. If it is not possible completely, at least we can eliminate it to the maximum extent. So earlier it was more than 33%. Now it is as good as 11%. So production rate particularly has been increased from 49 pieces to 67 pieces, and the percentage utilization of the tools and the fixtures in the assembly line has been improved from 85% to 95%, and the scrap is ideally reduced to 0. From 5% it is reduced to 0. So these are the outcomes of implementing IoT in the transformer manufacturing line. With these few words and with these two case studies presentations, I would like to close my session, and now I hand over to Nisha madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for the in-depth and enlightening presentation. It was very informative. Thank you so much for it. And I'd also like, with this, we've almost reached the end of today's webinar. So I'd like to thank also our academic partner, United Innovators. So if you are looking for services regarding paper publication, PhD, and research article writing, please do visit unitedinnovator.com to know more about the services they offer. And if you have any questions or feedback, you may also write to webinar@iferp.in. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Please do follow IFERP on social media to know more about the upcoming webinars. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Bye.
Bye, sir. Bye.